What's going on, folks? Welcome back to We the Champs. It's good to have you here. I'm your host, Jaylen, and we got our co-host, Uncle D, a.k.a. Coach Phil Blackson of RunTheFood.com. Check him out. If you're trying to be a chef, he's going to show you what it takes to do all that, be the culinary specialist and whatnot. All right. But we just had a pretty good weekend, and last week was very, very interesting with these last-minute NBA trades. And the biggest story of this weekend was the Super Bowl that just passed. I'm not sure what's the bigger story, Kendrick Lamar's halftime show or this game here. Me personally, let me just rant on about myself. I predicted this matchup preseason. I said Chiefs and Eagles. And then I said the dark horse game is the Chiefs and the Packers. And the Eagles came through and put a whomp on their ass. The game wasn't even 40-22 close. Like, that's just – the Chiefs had some garbage time touchdowns. And, man, what a game. What a game. You go ahead. What you think about this? How you feeling about this?
I mean, looking at it on paper, the Eagles had a superior team. They had a bad offense. They had a amazing defense. I think it's really an indictment on how great having a good running back can be. Having a great running back can be. Saquon Barkley took a lot of pressure off of Jaylen Hurts from having to make all the plays with his legs. You think about the last time they made the Super Bowl, Jaylen Hurts was making crazy plays with his legs all game, and now it was a balanced attack, so you didn't know who was going to get the ball with their legs. They have two great wide receivers, great secondary. I mean, and then honestly, Chiefs just look like a team that has played a lot of football over the last few years too. You know, I mean, it takes a lot out of a team going that deep in the playoffs every year. And also, I think they gave the Eagles too much motivation by not shutting up during the week leading up to the Super Bowl. You should just shut up. You don't give people
Chief Pete
banter. Just shut up.
Chief Pete. Yeah, man, you got to think this was a revenge game too. You know,
yeah.
Like the Chiefs, the Eagles. Now you didn't hear much of them making it about that, but I guarantee you, in that locker room, it was more about that than this. It's like AJ Brown said at the end, we can't rewrite history, but we can make it even. You know, I mean, okay, you lose one time, but you definitely don't want to lose another Super Bowl to the same team. You know what I'm saying? But
you also didn't hear them talk all week. I didn't hear a lot of Eagles players saying much, which is good, man. Stefanski, as much as everybody talks trash about Stefanski, he did a good job of just keeping his team focused and
Sirianni.
Oh, Sirianni.
Yeah. Sirianni, Antonelli.
Last names.
Jalen Roney. No, just like.
But he kept everybody quiet leading up to the game. You know, even with Kellen Moore leaving, there was no real big distractions for the team. They were just focused, man. And Jaylen Hurts is definitely a great leader.
And I feel like the fact you saying there wasn't a whole lot of chit chat and stuff about the game, that's so reflective of Jaylen Hurts. Like, dude, the guy's just so calm, so stoic. Like, even after he's like smiling and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And he scored a touchdown. I looked at Sam. I was like, hey, he's got my dance, but I was like, I don't think he's gonna dance now after the first touchdown. No, he didn't even dance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, regular season is one thing, but it's here. We're back here, so we gotta stay dialed in. Like, so even then, when they're celebrating confetti, he's just like, yeah.
Honestly, he's probably thinking he's got one. He's probably thinking about, okay, now I got one. Now it's time to get back to work. He's very workmanlike in the way that he comes to the game. Like, you don't. It's crazy. You just don't hear a lot about Jaylen Hurts, other than his play, and he's been criticized for not wanting to make mistakes and all this and that. But I think he's just a consummate professional. and they make it sound like a negative thing when why wouldn't you want to have somebody that's such a great leader on your team?
Right. Now, dude, so one thing, bro, this game was so crazy. The Chiefs were just getting smashed. Now, like at halftime, or it was close to halftime. No, at halftime, the Chiefs had 36 yards of offense. Patrick Mahomes had 33 passing yards, and as a team, they had 3 rushing yards. That was crazy. No, I mean, I was looking at the score. I'm like, man, in my head, I'm thinking, all right, can the Chiefs come back? And I said, they can't, dude. There's no juice here. And then you have the Eagles, who are known for holding the ball and just playing that keep away kind of game. At halftime, even right before halftime, I'm like, yeah, the Chiefs are done, bro. They don't have any juice. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see the juice until garbage time with Xavier Worthy on the deep passing plays. So this game was called right before halftime, honestly.
Yeah, man. I was just looking forward to the K-Dot by then. Like, honestly, there were 2 big losers yesterday, man. It was the Chiefs and Drake. So I mean, that was insane. Watching Pat Mahomes and Drake get beat up on yesterday.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes was getting walloped. I remember on the last play. It was one of the last drives the Chiefs had when Patrick Mahomes got stripped. Jalen Carter came and knocked the hell out of him, hit him in the face and everything. And I'm thinking, whoa, this was a close game. The referees would have thrown the flag on that one. Or I think they just missed it because it's like, all right, that's actually a penalty right there. You know what I mean? And they don't call that one. But I mean, early in the game, there were 2 calls. There was a offensive pass interference on A.J. Brown. That one was right here. You know, the Chiefs got that one. I think if he didn't push him in the face right here, it would have been a no call if it was maybe in the chest. And then the Eagles got a call. And that one, I felt that one was a bad one on Dallas go there. He went up for it. They came. He got hit. He got hit in the face, but it wasn't a high impact hit. It was just, okay, we kind of got bumped into when he was defenseless. I thought that was a bad call, but I'm like, you know what? It's fair. They got one. Now let's just let them keep playing. But I'm so glad the refs didn't have an impact in this game. That's what I was saying.
I think that the league really listened, man. They were really trying to stay away from controversy. There was no controversy in this game, really. Like, the Eagles came out and played good football. The Chiefs played bad. There was no time that they were like, man, the refs are trying to help the Chiefs get back in the game. Nobody's saying any of that. It's just, it is what it is, man. It was honestly a boring beatdown. I have neither one of those my team, so trying to watch a game where I'm just watching people get stunned on, honestly, it was over by halftime.
Hey, I was hyped. You know, I'm a secondary Eagles fan. I was saying I'm gonna be convert to an Eagles fan if they win this game, but no, I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna keep riding with my boys in Charlotte, man. I gotta keep pounding. But another thing, so yeah, I predicted. So my theory was the Eagles would have to win. They have to get out in front, and I said they had to put this game away, play arm's length to keep this game because. You know, that stat with Mahomes, 7 for 7 or 7 for 8 in game tying or go ahead touchdowns for play in the postseason. It just, you know, you didn't want to see the Chiefs marching downfield.
No,
with on a game winning drive.
17 straight games in one. 17 straight wins in
one. Like, bro, come on, y'all don't want to be here.
You got to blow them out. You had to blow them out, and so. They blew them out. So they did what they came in. They were very workmanlike. Nobody was a lot of rah, and they just did their job, and they won a game. So and the Eagles are they're built to win, to sustain. So I mean, next year they'll open up as a favorite to win. They'll have so many young, good players to run in a tough division. I mean, they'll still run up against the Commanders coming up. They have Dallas. It'll be interesting to see how they look. It'll be a new look Giants team, which
New look New York.
I mean, the Giants every couple years they play well, so you just never know, especially what they do at the quarterback position. So it'll be interesting to see how it looks. But Eagles should honestly still be favored to win next year.
And shout out to this defense, man. That's the one thing I was saying. They're so underrated. You look at that defensive line, all those Georgia Bulldogs on there, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith out there. The fact that they got this much, I think they had like 15 hits on the quarterback. They had 11 and 6 sacks. Got that pressure without the linebackers blitzing. And then you got the underrated Kevin Bond, who was a contender or finalist for Defensive Player of the Year in his secondary with 2 young cornerbacks. Cooper DeJean, shout out him from Iowa, got his first career interception was a pick 6 in the Super Bowl. That's when I knew the game was over. That was like, okay, this is it. Mahomes throwing pick 6s on his side of the field. We never see that. We never see that.
He was out of sorts, man. It was, I don't know. It just, and everybody's due. Everybody has a bad game. So it's like, he was due. I don't think everybody's like, oh, he's not the GOAT, whatever, all that stuff. But I mean, he's still a young quarterback. He's still in his 20s. So everybody's due for a bad big game, and it was his time. I think it's not an indictment on the Chiefs. It says more about the Eagles and where they are as a team. I mean,
oh yeah,
Jalen Carter is 23 years old, and they got him with a number 9 pick. He honestly should have been a Carolina Panther, but hey, it is what it is.
All right.
It is.
So we got Worthy, and then so going forward, the Chiefs, maybe D-Hop retired. Well, no, I don't think D-Hop. He's probably still getting some money. Is Kelsey going to retire this year? Because he looked like a shell of himself for much of the season.
He said he ain't retiring.
Hey,
I
respect that.
He's trying to get his clicks up. Hanging out. So,
and then they got Rashee Rice coming back off of injury next year. So these guys are reloading, man. I don't expect the Chiefs to slow down, but we'll see. We'll see.
They're gonna win the division like they do every year. Like honestly, the biggest thing for the Chiefs is every year until somebody knocks them off of winning the division, like you can at least expect them to be in the playoffs. There's who else? Like Denver is coming. They're coming up, right? And then the Chargers, until either one of those teams plays well in the playoffs, it's like I don't believe in them. I have no beliefs in those teams. And then we don't even talk about the Raiders. So,
Pete Carroll.
Oh yeah, man. Shout out to Pete Carroll. I mean, we'll see what he can do, man. That also depends on what kind of moves he makes as far as a quarterback. But the Chiefs will be back in the playoffs next year because they're going to win the division, and we'll go from there.
So with this being said, so usually, top tier teams, they bring some kind of trend or something different to the league. I mean, we've seen it in NBA, MLB, and especially in the NFL. So with the Eagles winning this and just having this dominant playoff run, I mean, even on the Chiefs side too, do you see that affecting the league in any kind of way? Do you see there being, it's like, oh man, they were doing this. This is, we need to push forward more so with this.
They just had better talent. They drafted really well. They made the trade for AJ Brown, which was the idiotic trade from the Titans. Such a bad trade. That's really all it is. They were just a more talented team. They didn't do anything except play strong up front and then have speed, have a good mixture of speed and power.
So the number one thing you said was strong up front. I think, you're looking at the draft. I mean, they drafted exceptionally well. I mean, all these players are house-bred players except for AJ and Saquon, which are gifts Like, they got who just gets gifted Saquon and AJ. But I think more teams will just, they already look in depth with the offensive line, but I think and defensive line, but I think that's going to be more of a punch because if you can be healthy right there all season, then that's where the game starts at. So I believe teams will stay more dialed in with that. So I think one team you mentioned, the Chargers, and that's really where Harbaugh, puts all his, puts most of his chips in where he believes in. I think the Chargers are ahead of schedule compared to other teams. Now it's about getting Herbert some guns, some weapons to use around.
I look at it like this, but that's nothing different. Every team is trying to play strong at offensive line and defensive line. All really good teams. That's what everybody's trying to do. If you look at the Ravens' success is because they have a strong offensive line, and this year their defensive line was not as good as it has been in the past, right? The Bills, same thing that they've been trying to do. The Bengals offensive line isn't as good as their defensive line. So it's all the things that everybody's trying to do. Philly just did them better. They just found better talent. So
I'm saying they were like, you look at that D line, there's guys I didn't even really know through this postseason that were like deep in the rotation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they still were all homegrown draft picks from honestly, they were first to third rounders. They didn't even have they just drafted really well. And a lot of the trades that they were making over the last 4 years, they made a lot of trades to get extra draft picks and drafted really well and just developed instead of trying to take a whole bunch of crazy swings.
Jets. The boy Jets, they tried to get. They're like, man, we're gonna get the Super Bowl. We're gonna buy the Super Bowl real quick.
Yeah, you can't do it. They were trying to skip the whole development of your team. They made a lot of trades, stockpile drafts, coached really well, and developed players as they needed to, all around their team. And that's really the basic. That's really the basic.
That's the Chiefs formula too.
Yeah, that's it. And Philly they just draft better.
Yeah. And the Chiefs also, Andy Reid being great, signing guys in the twilight in their career and just finding a spot for them to excel at, like D-Hop. Juju didn't have his best year, but we remember that other season he had when they won the Super Bowl. I think he had like 900 and something receiving yards. So even there.
And he played decent in the playoffs. Like he had a good game, but he played decent in the playoffs. So I mean, again, they lost in the Super Bowl. So you're one of the top two teams. So like even if they lost, it's still like it's not an indictment on Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. They both had a bad game. So and shout out to both the teams, man, for having good seasons and running the NFL basically over the last 3 years. Those teams have been running the league.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's